Reporting dozens of Israelis have been injured, 2 of those fatally. So let's bring in Dr. Debra West, who's the head of the emergency department at Assuta Ashdod Hospital. Doctor, thank you very much for coming on. I know it's an extremely busy day for you there. Firstly, walk us through the situation at the hospital over the last day.
So actually I've been here for the last 36 hours straight. We were told yesterday in the morning to be on high alert and then in the evening to be on very, very high alert, which basically means we closed down the top level of the hospital. Our hospital was built only 3 years ago, so it's actually protected against missiles up to the 4th floor. So last night we actually emptied the highest level, the 5th floor of the hospital, and moved all the patients to different wards. Meanwhile, we closed off the whole, all of the windows of the hospital and made sure we were completely protected. Simultaneously, we had to prepare all of our teams. We had to make sure everybody was on board, or everybody was in very, very close range. We did our mass casualty event drills, which we actually do very frequently anyway. We do them about once a month because we really have to be on high alert the whole time. We just made sure everything was up to date and everything was ready. And today we had an opportunity to prove that we were ready. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we heard simultaneously all of our phones went off, all of our sirens were, all the sirens were going off on our phones to tell us that there were missiles falling. At the same time, we actually heard the booms of the missiles that landed, the ones that the Iron Dome did not manage to shoot down. And within about 60 seconds, we started getting already the wounded. And that's basically what happens here. That's our experience over the last 3 years, is because the hospital is built in the middle of the city and in an area which is always under rocket fire whenever there's a conflict. We are simultaneously under fire and basically receiving patients. The ambulances bring in wounded. They drop them off, we receive them, they go back out and come back 3 minutes later with the next wounded patient. So it's really quite a unique experience. It's quite a unique challenge. I always find it extraordinary how well the team works together. As I said, we're very well drilled, and unfortunately we get a lot of experience. And that's basically what happened before. We're expecting it to happen again today.
So how many people do you have there as a result of this escalation, and what types of injuries do they bring in?
So basically today was actually relatively mild. We received 15, it's actually 17 patients at the same time, which is not a lot. They're a mixture of injuries. We get a mixture of people who were injured by the missiles flying themselves, either from direct hits or from shrapnel. We get quite a few people who are injured with orthopedic injuries, breaks and dislocations, which is from running to their protected area within the house or within their building. And then, of course, we always get the people who are basically post-trauma who come in shock from the experience, which is really very, very terrifying to be under fire. So we get a combination of all three. We didn't get any seriously wounded patients today. We got only a few patients that were basically hit by shrapnel, but we're on high alert because I can just now hear booms. Can you hear?
I can
just now hear booms in the background. So, again, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes. So we have to be ready the whole time.
Yeah, and tell me, Dr. West, how prepared, you said, your team is extremely experienced. Unfortunately, this is not the first time that such an incident has taken place. But how prepared are you for a wider escalation and potentially having more and more people brought through your doors?
We're pretty prepared. Basically, every hospital in Israel has to be able to take within the emergency department 20% of the capacity of the hospital. Our hospital at the moment is 300 beds, so we are meant to be able to absorb 60 wounded at the same time, and we should be able to do that. We are trained to do that. We've already worked out where we would place the patients, how we would treat them, how we divide our teams. As I said, we drill ourselves all the time. I'm on an overnight shift, unrelated to what's going on, and we will stop in the middle and do a drill. It's crucially important because you don't have time. You don't have time to respond. You have to respond immediately. As I said, as we're talking, I'm actually hearing in the background missiles falling. So, if it's missiles falling or something being shot down, but we can hear the action on the spot. So we have to be able to step into action. I think we can manage the 60 patients at the same time. We also have teams on alert. So those who are in the hospital, like I said, I slept in overnight, and there are other people who also sleep on site just in case we're too far away. And we have people within the area because a lot of our team, a lot of the doctors and the nurses actually live within the city, and they're on full alert. They're ready, with everything ready in their car, so they can just hop into the car and come here to help.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dr. Debra West, I really hope the situation calms down for you in the next few hours. Thank you so much for coming on.